hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real itself. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real itself. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money, money, money. All you got is money. Wealth. Like Kanye West said, having money is not everything. Not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. Yo, it's the love of money that's wrong. You don't like money so much, why you get up and go to work? What you trying to do with your own money? I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. It's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. And now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial government brought to the working class,
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning live with your main man, Ace Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, coming to you live and direct from the Mikey Learns About Business Studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you haven't gotten a chance to go cop my man Mikey's book, I want you to go to Mikey Knows Biz on Facebook, the fan page, Mikey Knows Biz, the fan page, and you can grab a copy of that book right there. I know you can't hardly see it, but that's my tribute. He sponsored Black Literacy Week for us, so I want to give him a shout out this morning. 10-year-old entrepreneur and now author, so you got to go check him out. But today is not about him, it's about my two guests that I have coming up for you guys. So you guys normally know I go into a whole dissertation about who this show is for and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to do that this morning. I'm just going to let you, I ask you to do me a favor. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and copy the link, share it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. For those of you who are on Facebook Live with us, go ahead and share the stream right now. Invite some other authors on, invite some other aspiring authors on, and let's get the conversation started, because you're going to be really, really impressed with today's guests and the works that they are promoting. I've gone through some of their works over the last couple of days, man, and I am super, super excited to present to you this first gentleman who's the author of 2 books, right? One of which he co-authored with his sons, but we're going to bring him on first, and I do believe we have one of his sons on as well. So it gives me a great honor and privilege to be able to present to some and introduce to others author of these 2 gems right here, Mr. Shiron Vick. All right, let me make sure that you're unmuted. How you doing, my brother? How goes it this morning?
Hey, good morning, Cortez. How are you doing?
How's
everyone doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, man. Thanks for joining us this morning, man, to talk about your works. So before we get into the first, I'm going to do this one first. Before we get into this, tell everybody a little bit about who you are and why you started to write in the first place.
Hi, my name is Shiron Vick. I'm a father. I'm a business owner. I began to write because writing became a therapy for me. Being married and getting divorced and going through different changes, trying to raise 3 sons from teenagers to young men, you have to go through a lot of stuff. And you see a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I began to write, and just, it was my therapy, beginning to write and go through my different thought patterns. And as I began to write, I began to understand and see that the things that I may have been facing in my own individual life, other people are facing some of the same things.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I saw that as a lesson, because I always look at it as a parent. I look at lessons to learn, look at ways to learn things so I can teach it to my sons. Because I realize that they're the next generation, and as men, they could spread their seeds throughout their mouth, their interactions with other people. And I want to make their generation better, and hopefully they can see things and see through my life, see a positive change and interaction. Gotcha. So that led me to write. That led me to write the first book that I co-authored with them, Your Loved One Is Talking. But my second book, which is poetry book, A Friend So Near, I began to write that book because I realized sometime as men, that's why I said Letters to Beautiful Brown Woman was inspired by the love of my life. It was inspired by her. But I began to look at beautiful women, the women in my family, my grandmother, my sister. A lot of time, our Black and Hispanic women, our men don't really necessarily tell us how wonderful we are. We wasn't really telling them how wonderful they are, how gifted they are, how they have been our backbone.
Right.
So I just started penning different poetry, just started writing poems, and I sent it to my sister, who's one of your faithful listeners, Lakeisha, and she said, "You got a gift." So everything that I do, I have a close-knit family, and I bounce stuff off my children, bounce stuff off my brothers and sisters, all the time off a woman. A lot of time when I say, "Okay, what do you think about this?" And my sister said, "You have a gift. You need to write." And that's what led me to begin to write.
Cool. So I'm gonna read one of these from A Friend So Near, Letters to Beautiful Brown Women. Guys, you gotta cop this, man. This is powerful. So I just want to read one of the poems from here, and this one is titled Queen. It says, my queen, a mother to sons, a friend, a woman, a lover who I compare to none. Our walks are special, our days are bright. When I hold your hand, everything seems right. Your hair is so radiant, your smile so smooth. You are my Stella who helped brought back my groove. I can dance with you, I can sing. We have a song that established our meaning. We flow, we walk, and we balance each other out. You have wisdom, I have safety, and together we are no doubt. You are my inspiration, the woman who makes me smile. I can dial your number always because time is now. Powerful little piece, and you got a lot of pieces like this dedicated to the Black woman. You said it was inspired by your lady, but from the standpoint of just seeing how, hip hop gets a rap for this, TV, movies gets a rap for this, for not putting the Black woman in her proper space of adoration, adornment. I want to say praise in a lot of situations, but not in the praise that's equivalent to that of God. But we should reverence our women, and we don't do that as much. So how many poems did you come up with before? Did they all make the book, or there was some you're holding on to that was so special to you and your ladies, and I can't share this with the public?
Yeah, there's a lot of poems that I couldn't share, and I actually let my sons read some of them. Some of them, when I talk to people, they say, "No, you can't put that one in there." No, you couldn't put it there. But I think about everything I do. If I can't share it, if I'm ashamed to put it before my children, if I'm ashamed to have, because one of these poems is written to my grandmother. I wrote it for her 90th birthday.
Okay.
So if I can't let her read it, then it can't go in this book. So so that's what. But I held some of the poems back, but then I said I have something else that maybe can be released down the line, and then I could just put some of these poems on the social media just to put it out there, get people to understand who I am, and then just to help people, like you said. A lot of stuff with hip hop, a lot of media, we don't display our people in a more positive light.
Yeah.
Especially our women. And I know as a Black man, I was guilty of that. I was guilty of that. I thought things had to go my way until I realized that sometimes you have to come to an understanding of those who's really there for you. Those who really love you, those who really have your back. And when your eyes are open, the word says, when you are strengthened, go strengthen your brother.
Right.
So I wrote this. It's to women. I'm writing this to women, but I'm hoping that my brothers that pick this up and say, "Wow, let me look at my own little girl. Let me look at the women in my circle, and let me lift them up and tell them how great and wonderful they are."
Yeah, because you mentioned something very powerful. Because you said that I think sometimes when we think about women as men, we only think about the woman that we are sexually attracted to, the woman that we're looking to as a mate. And sometimes we forget sisters, mamas, grandmamas, cousins, aunts, nieces. All of them need to be empowered, and they need to be shown a certain level of love in a platonic way from the men in their lives. And I think that just helps them to be more stable, and also helps them to better choose a mate. Sometimes we get on our sisters, you know, whether they're nieces, cousins, aunts, or whoever, because of the men in their lives. And all the time, we've never done anything to help lift them up and help raise their self-esteem so that they can choose a good mate. So it sounds like your grandma is very dear and near to your heart, man. Shout out some of the other women who helped to shape and mold Vick, Shiron, to the man that you are today.
Well, I was, before my mother passed years ago, we had a unique relationship, because she always taught me and taught my siblings not to make excuses in life. And she really introduced me to the Lord and presented Christ to us. But she always showed us a strength. She showed us as being a strong Black woman, but still having that humbleness, that meekness about her. So I always refer back to my mother a lot of stuff, but I come from a family, a very close-knit family, where I have woman. I've been married, so I have a woman in my life now, and I have cousins aunties that I'm very close to that always help guide me.
Good deal. Good
so,
deal.
So they can impart stuff on their tummy. They tell me, Ron, think about this, consider this. And I've been unique to be a man where I've had a lot of good counsel from women. I didn't take it all the time,
right?
But I was in that position because sometimes men, our pride, but I've been in a very good place where I've had that wise counsel, and it's sometimes to let it be known.
Yeah, and I think this world is where it is today because of not enough feminine energy. I think masculinity is overrated, and you know, some of the decisions that's made from the White House on down could be severely impacted in a positive way if they let more women into the room, so to speak. So that was this book, man. This one is super awesome, guys. So again, if you want to grab this one, you can go to is it Vick Publishing?
Yeah, it's Vick Men Publish.
Vick Men Publish.
www.vickmenpublish.com. You can catch both the books there, and just learn more about us there.
Exactly. So, but I want to get into this one, man, because I think this one is super cool that you co-wrote this one with your sons, and we are blessed enough to have one of your sons available this morning to come hang out with us. So let me do this. Let me bring your son in, and let's talk about this one, man, because this one is really interesting to me. So for those, give me 1 second, and we're going to introduce to the panel Mr. Micaiah Vick. How you doing, young man? Let me get you off mute.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing all right, man. We're doing all right. Are you the one in sunny Florida? That's why we got the shades this morning?
Yes, I am.
Hey, listen, man. It's something about brothers in Florida in white shirts. Every time I see somebody in Florida, they in that white, man, and good deal, looking suave and dapper near. So welcome to the program this morning, man. Your pops is just talking about how close knit you guys are, and I want you to do me a favor, man. He had no idea we was going to do this, but I want you to do me a favor, man. I want you to tell the world, while at the same time telling your pops what he means to you. See, as brothers, we don't always, and you guys, sounds like you guys do this all the time, but I want the world to see this. We don't always tell each other directly what another brother means to us in our lives, whether it's our father, whether it's a good friend, whether it's a nephew, cousin, somebody. So I want you to tell the world what your dad means to you while telling him at the same time.
Well, what my dad means to me, and what I would like the world to know, is he's a very special person in my life. Throughout my whole 19 years of life, I have encountered many people, many friends that I can call a brother. And my dad trumps that all. It goes on from my mother to him. And I see my dad as someone that truly cares. Throughout the adolescent stages of my life, I have gone through a lot, and many teenagers and children do. And to go on about that, not a very few men actually personally develop their children.
Mm-hmm.
And my father is one of those people who stood by us, no matter what, no matter the situation. And he showed forth what a man should look like, what a man should be in their life. And I truly love that, because when I look up to someone and that is my biological father, I want that person to be loving. I want that person to show me how a man should conduct himself, how a man should have a future. And I love that I was blessed to have a person like that in my life, because not very few people have people like that in my life. And my dad honestly made sure that I had people surrounding my environment that was good to me. And not very few fathers do that. They're all about themselves. And my dad, he wasn't a person that was all about himself. He was about family. He was about parenting. He was about spiritual growth, and that's what I love about him the most. And very few people cannot say that. So I would just like to thank him. I would like to thank the people that pounded on his back to get on us. Although I might have hated what a parent most likely does to the children so they can grow them, but today I can say that I matured because of him, and I definitely love the fact that he's still in my life.
Awesome. Good stuff, man. I appreciate you doing that, man. I know I kind of put you on the spot a little bit, but we need that more, and more. That shit. That's an everyday conversation that needs to be had. Sometimes we, as men, walk around with our chest poked out, and this false sense of bravado that we get from TV. That's not manhood, right? That's not manhood at all. And you said something else key there. You said your dad helped you to personally develop, and that's important, man, to be guided through that sort of development. But on to this, guys. This is amazing to me, because I'm a son of a minister, right? And I just remember just the word and just being at church all the time, man. So we're gonna talk a little bit about this, but I want to read a passage that you wrote here, and it's really cool because it says, "Enemy in the gate." Now, I want you to realize, you guys can't see this, but I want you to realize how he spells enemy. I-N-A-M-E. Enemy in the gate. It says, all too often in our homes and in our churches, the enemy resides inside the gate. We know of the enemy's presence, and we are very comfortable with the destruction because the enemy is us. As believers, we have become so entrenched in the standards of the world that we use the doctrine of grace as a scapegoat. When has grace of our Lord giving us a get out of jail free card to sin? Brother, you wrote a mouthful there. Talk a little bit about the enemy in the gate, the enemy within us, and give us a couple of things that we should be doing to kind of overcome that enemy within.
Well, I think that this touched home for me, because I begin to look at myself. Sometimes we quote the scriptures and say, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper, no more than a conqueror." But what does that mean to be a conqueror? If you can't conquer yourself first, if you can't look at yourself and look at things, and the Lord dropped that in my spirit, that sometimes we could be surrounded by wise counsel, And the life experiences can teach us to be wise. But if we don't begin to look at ourselves, I had to look at myself and think about why did I go through everything that I go through? Why do I have once faced a divorce? Why did I lose a job before? Lose a lot of money in business? Why did I go through everything that I personally went through? And then I had to begin to look at myself. My mother taught us not to make excuses in life, or not to just exist in life. So the enemy in the gate is sometimes in our home, we're the enemies. We can be, as people, as men, sometimes we get so focused on everyone. A lot of times, the black man, we say the white man did it. Right. Or it's my woman's fault. Or I got to do this, I got to take care of children. But we begin to focus on ourselves and see how we can look in the mirror, look at ourselves and see, what are you doing wrong? A lot of time, my brother and I, Glenn, we have Eric, I call him Eric, his name is Glenn. We have conversations, and when we always talking about stuff, we always ask each other, well, what was your part? What did you do wrong in this situation? And that's always been our check for one another when we talk on a daily basis. And that led me to look at it and say, okay, the enemy in the gate may be me. I may be the one person in my home, amongst my friends, amongst my loved ones, that's causing problems, that's hindering our own development.
Exactly. So that is critically important, man, because I teach my sons the number one thing a man has to be is responsible. And that not only means the things that you do and the actions that you take, but also be responsible for the words that come out of your mouth and how they can cause problems for other people. So yeah, we are in a situation where very few people are willing to be accountable and own up to their part. And we don't like to look at the laws of cause and effect, right? I did a show last week where we talked about some people will look at somebody's success and call them lucky. Well, that person did something to position them to be able to take advantage of an opportunity. So you have to definitely look at yourself. So I want to talk to Kaya real quick. As a 19-year-old, right? Talk about the time where you realized that spiritual growth was necessary, right? Because it didn't happen for me as early as I would have liked it. I was the kid who was fighting, man, church again, but seems like you got it early on in life that this walk with Christ is real and you needed that and you start to embrace that. About what age, when did that happen for you?
At the age of, I guess you can say between 17 and 18, I was called the person, socially acceptable. I always hung out with the popular crew in high school. I was the kid that everybody knew for throwing parties, having a good time, and just enjoying life. And along that journey, I was still fighting a battle with God. I was always ordained to be God's children, but I kind of left God to the side. And there was very few times in my life where I would go back and read my Bible and go back to God because he was talking in my ear. What I mean talking in my ear is his kingdom lived inside of me. When you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, he never leaves you, he never forsakes you. So his kingdom was living inside of me, and he was calling me throughout my high school career. And as a senior in high school, I started to realize that my life wasn't my own.
Wow.
My life wasn't my own. What I was doing, going to school, trying to graduate high school, to become a college student, it was necessary, and partying, wanting to be social, it was necessary because everyone likes to have a social life. But I saw that God was more than anything. God took me up from having a bad childhood to now living in Pennsylvania, having a happy life. And once I saw that God can change any atmosphere.
Right.
He can move mountains. He can really be your God. And as I started to really realize that, God started to speak to me, and I just started seeing myself traveling with my uncle to church in New York every Sunday. And every time I went, God spoke to me. He started giving me a revelation. He started giving me a word to tell to people.
Wow.
And people saw that light in me. They saw that, wow, that kid is something special. He's going to do something. And God has, ever since I decided to focus more on God, I have been more successful in my life. And the people that are surrounding me, they're more successful because of me. God has blessed me to bless those around me. And God has led me on that journey to come to Florida. And I can say that when I came to Florida, I wasn't spiritually where I needed to be. But God weakens those that he needs to bring up. And that's what happened to me. I caught myself just laying in the bed, needing God, crying out to God that I need him in my life. And ever since I did that, I have been spiritually fed. I have been walking with God. He has been leading me. Of course, I have fallen short of the glory of God from time to time. But when I decided that God was the number one person in my life, the number one king that I needed, all of my frustration was gone. All of my peace was now mine. And I can truly say that wherever I go through, I will always have peace because of God.
Wow, that's powerful, man. And I will honestly say at 40, soon to be 43, I didn't get that at 18, 19 years old. I can promise you that. Even though I was raised in the church. I mean, like I said, my mom's a minister. And I was raised, I didn't get that at 18 and 19. And to really see how the hand, now I see at 43, how when I look back at 18 and 19, how I was covered, how God protected me, how God kept me. But to realize it as you're going through, I can imagine that you can move through life with so much more boldness and so much more authority, because you know not only who you are, but you know whose you are. That is powerful. So you said your loved ones are is talking. Please listen. Where did the title come from, Shiron?
Well, the title comes from is my sons and I. We're everyone's loved ones. We're your loved one talking to you, and we begin to look at each other. Christ, what he was about was love. So if I begin to talk to you, I begin to speak to you in love, I'm asking you to listen. When people pick up this book and they see this book, Your Loved One Is Talking, it tells a real story, because at one of the toughest times in our lives, I was going through a divorce. My son and I, we going through a divorce. I'm a single dad. We try to make things happen. I had men that was there for me, that loved on me, that told me, you can't die. You got to get yourself together. We need you. So I had that strength, and that's what led to Your Loved One Is Talking. I asked my sons, they wrote the chapter on parenting, and I asked them, what can I do as a parent? Write a letter to me. Tell me where I've fallen short.
Wow.
And I had to listen to them, and they were talking to me as a loved one. So that's what led, and the Lord just dropped that, Your loved one is talking, please listen. Sometimes we don't listen to the people that's near us.
Wow.
And hear exactly what they have to say.
That's powerful, man. And you said something else that was critical, and I don't know if you caught it. I don't know if the audience caught it. You said, my sons and I were going through a divorce. See, sometimes we say, as grown-ups, the adults in the picture, the husband and the wife, you say, we're going through the divorce, as if you two are the only ones separating. But you said, my sons and I were going through a divorce, and that's critical. Talk a little bit about how the divorce affected the children, and how you knew, okay, now I'm gonna have to raise these guys on my own, and what you did. Obviously, you leaned on your faith. I can tell that was important, and that helped you get you through. But talk about some of the things, the practical things that you guys had to go through as you were making that transition.
No, it was a total life change, because I was in a process of working full time for myself, becoming a business owner.
Okay.
So all that time I used to work for city government in law enforcement, and now I'm starting my own business and working on myself, and our whole life was evil. So now I have to learn how to cook. I have to learn how to do for them and be there for them.
Right.
And my career was 2 states away. I live in Pennsylvania, but I worked in New York City, 2 hours away. So everything got changed. And then we had to go through custody fights. I moved down to North Carolina. Then we had the whole custody issue, which has made a lot of stuff rough for us. But throughout that time, it's thankful that we kept that bond because we was always communicating with one another. So that led to a lot of this stuff. That book is a 2-year in the making. It was a steady writing assignment of me just continue to write, and you'll see the people that I acknowledged in there because they were there for me. They talked to me, they were there for me, they strengthened me, and they gave me some wisdom, and I just kept beginning to write. So the divorce we went through, the family hardships came out of this because it showed us how the triumph.
Right.
One of the chapters in this book says, too much is given, much is required. Sometimes as people, we look at that from a financial standpoint, but we look at a lot of times things we go through, a lot of times the much that you may have been given, like me and what my children were, we were given much faith. So if you go through a divorce, you have family illness, you have sickness, you have death in your family, you have a monetary loss, and you still could get up and you still could strive to push forward and to conquer, you was given much. You was given much strength. You was given much strength to survive and to conquer. So that's what sometimes is to make it brief, it's a song called Fred Hammond says, success is in your hand, follow my plan. Sometimes we have to look at ourselves, look at what we possess and what we have, and follow the plan that God He has for us. To look at those tribulations and trials that we've gone through and say, wow, this made me, this molded me to make me great.
Exactly.
For me to be.
So Micah, give it to me from the child's perspective. As you were going through, it had to be rough. Mom, dad separating, and not only that, dad's business, he's trying to get some things off the ground. You guys moving around a little bit. So talk about, in about a minute or less, where you were, how that impacted you, and now as you look back, how that was the seed for the growth of who you are today.
Yeah, as I look back now, I can truly say that life was hard. I'm glad that God has put me through those circumstances, because now I can relate to people and now I can help people with their struggles. But from a 12-year-old standpoint, it was the worst thing a child can ever experience. I tend to get upset at my parents. I would always see them fighting. I would always see them separated, and I didn't understand why my parents were doing this to us. Personally, I would see that I tend to hate one of my parents because of one of the actions they did. But in all the experience that me and my brothers went through, it made us a better person, because we realized that although our parents separated, they loved us individually, and that love individually what made us the person who we are today. We might be loved individually, but in a whole, we know that our parents would be there for us. We know that our parents had to make that separation for the better of the family. Although one another might not get along together, the separation really grows us. And if they didn't separate, I'm not sure if I would be the person who I am today.
Wow, good stuff, man. And then we have to consider that, you know, sometimes it's the best thing to do, and when you just amicably part. So Vic, man, I appreciate this 30 minutes has flown by, man. We're gonna have to have you guys back on the show again. real soon. But tell us where we can get both copies of the book, right? Tell us again where they can get the copies of the book.
Well, you could go to www.vicmenpublish.com, and you'll see Your Loved One Is Talking, Please Listen. You'll also see a friend on there, Letters to a Beautiful Brown Woman. So you can find us on www.vicmenpublish.com. Also follow us on Twitter at BigManPublish17. Facebook page is Big Man Publishing. So you can follow us there on Facebook, Big Man Publishing, www.bigmanpublish.com. And for those of you who are listening today, if you mentioned that you saw me on the Cortez show, you get these 2 books. You get both of these books for $20.
Wow.
So that's the offer that we offer to listeners. You get both these books 2 for $20. So check us out and follow us there. We're your loved ones. We're talking. Want you to listen because iron sharpens iron. We're here to empower our people to teach and to learn and grow together and to take territory together.
Exactly. So you heard it here first, right? Get both of the books for $20 if you say you heard them on Talking Money in the Morning Live with Ace Cortez, right? So Vic, Makai, man, I appreciate you guys both for jumping on. I know it's summertime for you. Are you doing summer school, Makai, or are you gonna take a break?
No, I'm actually not doing summer school. I'm actually studying for the ASRA right now.
All right, good deal. All right, so appreciate you guys for jumping on, man. This has been phenomenal. I think I don't know about everybody. Give me a thumbs up, man, if you learned something today, man. I truly did learn from you brothers, man. And I'm the father of 5 sons, so I like to talk and connect with men who are raising other men and see how they're doing it and some things I can glean from them, because we have to get the next generation together. One generation has to say, okay, this next generation is going to be right, and somebody had to make sacrifices to make that happen. Looks like you are doing that. And even through entrepreneurship. So we got to get you on so you can talk about your business. That's my favorite subject. So I appreciate you guys for joining us this morning. Again, VicMenPublishing.com. If you say you saw him on our show, you get both books for $20. Again, man, I appreciate you guys for joining us. And I will get with you a little bit later, Vic, and get you some additional information. Micaiah, it was definitely nice meeting you, hearing from your heart, especially about how you feel about your dad, man. So I truly appreciate that. And we're going to move on to our next guest. So let's see if I can bring the next guest on.
And we appreciate you, Cortez.
All right, man. Thanks a ton. All right, guys. So give it up for the big men, man. Give it up for the big men. Tell me, was that good stuff or what, man? Was that just good stuff or what, man? See, I don't know if you guys heard of the recent study that talked about how the media keeps saying that 70% of our children are being brought up in single family homes, and that's not true. Because the data is skewed in the sense that when they declare a woman single, that just means she is not married. But you guys know from slavery days that sometimes we just don't get married, right? But that don't mean there's not a man in that home rearing those children. And that's a great example of a divorced husband and wife. He's a single father. We don't talk about the number of kids who are raised by a single father, but that because he divorced his wife, that woman now is looked at as a single parent, and nothing is being mentioned about the kids are actually being raised by the father. So don't believe the hype, man. The media wants us to believe that our fathers are absentee, because if you tell a lie long enough and loud enough, it becomes true. So we don't want that lie to become true, right? Now, this is not to discount any single moms who are truly single going through it because the man is truly absent, but there are a lot of brothers in our communities doing what they should be doing and don't necessarily get the credit. That's why I had to have my brother on the show. Now, from one brother to a powerful sister, I want you guys to get ready to welcome one of my good friends. She is the author of 30 Days to Life, A Journey to Healing. I'm not going to delay any further, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce to some and present to others my sister from another mister, Miss Anitress Montgomery from 30 Days to Life, A Journey to Healing. Come on, young lady. There she is. Anitress, how's it going, Queen?
I am blessed and happy to be here. Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So you wrote this little gem, right? 30 Days to Life, A Journey to Healing. Before we get into that, tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what got you on the journey to writing.
My name is Anitress Montgomery. I also go by the name of Life because I allow my light to shine. I encourage others to let their light shine as well.
Awesome.
I'm from St. Louis originally. Lived in Austin, Texas for the last 9 months, and I absolutely love Texas.
Cool.
I said I was somewhere when it was time for me, south, southeast, or southwest, because I was confident. And the opportunity presented itself. My nephew was then in the service in the Army in Saline, Texas. So I was able to reposition myself, and I'm happy for it.
Good deal.
I have 2 beautiful children grown. My daughter, Saida, my son, Idris, and they're still living in St. Louis, both married. And I have 2 wonderful, absolute joyous grandchildren, Naima and Nasir. And I was just there 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Cool, cool. Good stuff. So A Journey to Healing tells me that at some point someone was broken if you needed a healing. So what was it in your life that caused you to need to go through a 30-day transformation to get your life back on track?
Well, it was literally a broken heart. And, you know, for many of us, we say, you know, I've experienced a broken heart, but internally something shifts, something happens, and it like clenches your whole body. I never felt like that before in my life. And I don't know that it was necessarily like a broken heart from like a loved one hurting me. I think it was of a rejection, you know, and it just hurt. It just hurt really, really bad. Never experienced that. So the depression that I began to feel didn't feel right, and it didn't feel good. And you know, I'm in Texas by myself, and I didn't want to go down that road. I didn't want to go worse, you know. So I'm a positive-minded person. I believe in healing. I know the practices of yoga and meditation and mind-altering thought, you know, affirmation, right? I have a spiritual friend there in St. Louis, Mama Moon, love her. And I called her and I was telling her what I was feeling, you know, and she talked me through it, you know, told me, you know, I'm better than that and how, you know, make myself feel better is by writing, which I know journaling of your mind on paper, and then you get straight into the universe with.
Wow.
So I said, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. So I began to write. And I said to her, I said, it's going to be a book. Right?
Good deal.
And then, and again, as I was talking to her, the name just popped into my mind. It just popped into my mind. And I know that within 21 days, it takes to create a new habit.
Right.
So during the 30 days, I said I was going to change my life forever. That's why 30 days to life as a prison sentence is will,
Right.
to confine myself, change it.
Gotcha, gotcha. I'm gonna read a little excerpt of this. This is in the chapter called Raise. It says, I am alive with breath, feeling insight and truth, trusting and believing that with faith I am successful and all things are possible. I continue to be diligent, mindful, and aware of focusing all my energy on self-awareness. This really means knowing that God is as close to me as my next breath, and we are one. The one that is all-knowing, all-powerful, and ever-present is deep within me. Through my daily practices of fasting, praying, meditation, and invoking the attributes of Allah, I awaken my true being. Talk a little bit more about the true being that lies within all of us, because I think for me, I spent many years trying to prove to the world that I really was who I was pretending to be, right? So talk about that true one that lies within each of us.
Let me preface that by saying, like we all say on the show here, that I am unapologetically Black, and I am unapologetically Muslim.
Okay.
I believe in the of Islam, and that Allah is real. So to know that and to believe that gives me that strength and that faith. So knowing that, like you say, who I am and whose I am,
exactly,
knowing that within me builds me up to be the greatest that I can be. We fear things on the outside because of what we've been told, taught, you know, wrong thinking, right? So I know that I have to change that within me. And the only way I can change it within me is to believe something other than what I've been taught. So I have to think differently. I have to read differently. I have to tell myself different things. And there comes the affirmation, chanting, if you will. By telling myself something different, then I begin to change my mind, and the inside changes the outside, not the other way around. You can't change your state and think that you're going to be better.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Everything is internal. It starts from within. So that's the faith.
Gotcha. So for a guy like me, who's been saying almost all my adult life, man, I'm going to learn how to meditate. I'm going to learn how to get into all of that. What would be some first few steps that, if I want to get serious? Now, I ground myself all the time. I do sun gazing and some things, but I really don't have a practice of meditation. So if you were to coach me through the practice of meditation, what would be maybe the first 2-3 steps that you would recommend I take?
There's many ways to meditate, and some people can't be still meditating. And you've seen a lot of videos or shows people sitting still for, you know, a lengthy time or even a short time. But you can sit, you can walk in nature, you can mindfully meditate on anything. So let's say you're looking at a picture of flowers or something, and you're just really into that picture, right? And your thoughts are only about what the picture looks like, how those flowers can be. You imagine a garden, you know, that's another form of meditation.
Okay.
But to breathe through the process is to give life to the meditation. So you're taking in good energy and letting out the bad energy. So breathing consciously, because we breathe every day, but we don't think about breath because it's automatic, right? But we really forgot how to breathe. Our heart rate and our breathing is much faster. But when you slow the breath down, it allows the mind to clear, if you will. Those are two main things: is breathing and focusing on something other than, you know, those things that distract.
Gotcha. And I do study that the difference between actually taking breaths and inhaling is just like I did the show on sleep and rest, right? Sleep and rest, there's two different things. Sleep is physical, rest is spiritual. And the same way with the way that you breathe, when you take a breath, that is physical, but when you inhale, that is spiritual, right? You actually open up. Well, we're not going to get into that, but it's a difference, and I think a lot of people don't get that. And now, just with meditation, my wife was sitting here on the couch just the other day. She said, "I'm going to start doing some yoga." I said, "Me too."
Good for you. Good for you.
But that's all it was. That was it. It ended right there. It ended right there with that little bit of excitement. So talk about how that all ties into, because I don't think for a lot of us, we don't see that as a spiritual thing, right? But yoga is deeply spiritual, right? Or can be, and it's not just an exercise, and it's not just stretching. Talk about how that connects to the spiritual being.
So what I practice and believe in holistic healing. So yoga, meditation, fasting, cleansing the body and the mind are holistic, mind, body, and spirit. So there is no separation in the universe. Nothing is separate. Everything is whole. Everything is one. We were taught incorrectly that it's separation. The body works in harmony, all together in one, right? So yoga, by moving and breathing at the same time, you're allowing life to flow through your body easily. And yoga is calming. So you get to be in the present moment, if you will, through the movement. We focus on, the stretching and the bending and the flow. The blood flows easier. I've heard of inversion. Inversion, simply turning upside down. The blood is normally downward because we're standing up, right? So when you do yoga moves, a lot of them cause you to be head down, allowing feet up, so we're inverting and allowing the blood to flow in a different direction.
Gotcha.
So the yoga is freeing through the restrictions that we're normally in. We sit all day long. We don't, take time to move our body and in different ways than normal. We do the same thing every day. So yoga just opens you up. Just totally opens.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think about, the fact that the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump like the heart. Your heart has a pump, so it moves the blood, but your lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. So in order to get the lymph fluid moving, you need to be moving, right? You need to be jumping up and down, running, jogging, going upside down and right side up constantly to help that that cellular waste get out of the body. So that is extremely powerful. And then you talked about fasting as well, and a lot of people don't see the connection, again, because we've been trained to separate the body from the spirit. We don't see the spiritual connection between the foods that we eat. So talk a little bit about the difference between eating living food and eating dead food, and then not eating food at all so you can cleanse the body and eat.
Right. Well, let's start with the not eating of the food. What happens is our brain and stomach can't work literally like at the same time. So you're eating food and it's going through the system, the esophagus, down into the stomach, and then it has to go through the intestine. So as I was taught through my teacher, is that we eat all day long. If you get up in the morning, you're eating breakfast, 8 o'clock. You eat a snack at 10 o'clock. Well, the intestine is long throughout the body, right? So when you're finished eating breakfast and it's still going through the intestine, then you put more food in for lunch or break or whatever. That's in the morning. Then you eat lunch, then you eat afternoon snack, you eat dinner. You're eating all day long and you don't get that food time to properly go through the system and eliminate. So when you fast, you give your digestion time to rest. That way the blood can flow easily to the brain, allowing you time to think clearer.
Wow.
We're literally in a fog when we're eating all day long. We're not giving the blood time to flow to our brain and give clarity. Wow. So fasting and fasting, what many of us think is fasting is not really fasting. So it takes at least 48 hours for the food to go through the intestine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a fast. If you fast for like 24 hours, it takes longer than that for the food to go through the intestine.
Wow.
So at least 48 hours, 48 to 72 hours for a pure fast. And you can drink, water, tea, coffee, warm things are good, but not juices and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's as far as the fasting goes. To eat live things versus dead.
Mm-hmm.
So we eat meat, fish, chicken, all those things. The animals that are killed was a living thing. Once it's dead, the animal, the tissue was alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that animal felt a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Then we take that meat in, and now we're putting something dead into our body, which could only cause us to die in some way. So there comes like illnesses, high blood pressure, all the stress that the animal felt. Now we feel, and that's what the dead affects us. The dead food. Again, the opposite. Live food causes more life. We eat living things that grow from nature, from the earth, that are healthy, causes us to think different. You know, again, the transition, everything affects us. Nothing separate. The mind, body, and spirit take in living and dead things to affect us in those polar opposites.
Yeah, and I think it becomes more critical for us to understand that. I was at the nursery yesterday picking up some stuff to put in the ground. A little late in the season here. We've been having so much rain, man, that it's just ridiculous that I didn't get my greenhouse planted fully, but I will get some stuff in the ground today. And there's a difference between going outside and picking something and eating it fresh while the life force is still running in it versus going to the store and buying something, even if it is green, even if it's organic. We don't know how long it's been removed from the source. So we don't know how much life force is still in it. So I think everybody should have a garden for two reasons. Number one, to eat food while it's still living, while it's still alive. Two, when you put your hands in the soil, that's just something that magical happens when you are tilling and turning the earth. Because I think we were all put here to be caretakers with each other of this earth. So talk really quickly about where folks can grab the book.
Okay. So I have a Facebook page. It's called Health Naturally. Again, I teach holistic healing and health. So people are sick in this world, and all the foods that they take in, the energy around them, they have to shift some things and do a lot of different things. So my Facebook page is Health Naturally. I have a blog, which is long name. It's Nene, NENEE 62 Wix, WIX.com / Health Natural.
Health Natural.
Okay.
Gotcha. We'll put it in the chat. We'll put it in the chat.
Okay. We can get the book at Create Faith or Amazon.com. Or if you order from me today from this show, you can get the book, right? Along with my t-shirt.
That is
These
beautiful.
flowers that I do.
That is
my
beautiful.
30 Days to Life. Yes. 30 Days to Life.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
For $20.
$20. So we got the t-shirt and the book, $20. But you gotta say you learned about her from me.
That's right.
Financial health mentor on Talking Money in the Morning Live. So this 30-day journey, walk us through the 30 days, right? So walk us through kind of what the day-to-day is like to get you through this journey. We know 21 days creates the creates new habits. But walk us through this 30-day transformation.
Okay. First of all, it's the mindset. You have to change your mind and know that you want something different. The painting, I think Bethany yesterday.
Yeah, she's Bethany and Brandy Gates.
I know, right? And I know her as Brandy from a long time ago. But anyway, she was talking about I just lost my thought just like quick. What were we talking about?
You said something about the painting?
Oh, the pain. When we go through pain, it causes us to revisit or reevaluate our lives. We go through life every day, and there's always things going on around us. But not until we experience some traumatic pain do we say something has changed or I'm just stuck.
Right.
You know, we act out of two reasons, pain and pleasure. So what I did was I woke up in the middle of the night because that's the silent time, and God hears you in the silent hour because there's no distractions, there's no noise, nothing's going on. So I got up and I would meditate, and I would think prayer. Then eventually I would fall back to sleep after I got through with all of that, talking to God. Then I get back up about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I would journal. I started out by journaling every day so that I would set the pattern for that day. Know that what I was focusing on, because the title came from actually titles in the Quran. So I was something to think about.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
So the words came from the title, and it was just a blessing. God, I didn't know I could write a book. It just came.
Right.
So so I would write, and then I would meditate some more throughout the day, and then I would chant. I did my yoga, and I really sat still most of the day. I really did. I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV at all. Haven't for a long time, so I'm not distracted by that. And then I would do some reading, you know, and focus on, you know, never wanting to go back there again. For me into where I am today. So the continuation of that thought made me better person.
Right. So
that's what I did today.
Journaling daily, meditating daily. Talk about some of those conversations with God, man. I think I talked about this a couple weeks back, man, that some of us purposely keep ourselves so busy and so distracted because we don't want to hear from God. So talk about some of those conversations that you have with God.
Well, again, from the pain, and you know, it was a journey, because what got me to that one point was the bad decisions that I made all along the way. I mean, I just made this terribly bad decision. And I post a lot about me being vulnerable and then becoming valuable. I had no value in myself.
Wow.
I wasn't valued as a child, and I didn't feel blessed to be, you know, so I felt ignored a lot. I was a middle child. So middle child gets overlooked by the older child, and the baby comes along, and then they get all the attention.
Right.
So, so talking to God helped me to focus on the God that I am, God that I am, so that think good things, know who I am, be better, you know what you want, and ask for what you want, you know, and then be intentional in it. Sometimes we say we want to think, and then we go and do the same dumb thing that we was doing all along, and it don't work like that. So you have to just be intentional and allow yourself to just go on the path. There's a path that's laid out step by step, and you just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. So God is always present, and you have to be silent. Because we talk to ourselves, and don't get confused from your thoughts telling you what to do versus God's intelligence telling you what's that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I suffered from that for a long time. I was one of those kids who, and even to my teenage and young 20s, you would never find me alone. because I didn't want to be alone with those thoughts, because I didn't want to accept who God was calling me to be. Right. Yeah. And that scared me for a long time, and I ran from it for a long time. And ultimately, you know, I came to peace with who I am now a few years ago, and that is because I had to say to myself, you know what, it's time to stop running. Right. Whatever God has for me, whatever direction He wants me to go in, I'm gonna listen to this quiet, still voice. And now I'm by myself all the time because I don't mind. You know?
And that's what I put in the book. Resistance is futile. When you're called, you can't resist. Because it's gonna keep coming back at you one way or the other. So it's just futile. Yeah. Let go, let God, and give in. Just give in.
Yeah, yeah. Because my life changed dramatically for the better, and you know that was important for me to do that. But you said something else there. You said, you know what, I had to take responsibility for some of the bonehead decisions that I was making over and over and over again. And I think that's one part that so many miss, is that yes, somebody else had a part in whatever your situation is, but so did you, right? So whether they did something to you, you allowed it. So you got to own that piece of you. Again, the laws of a cause and effect, right? There's a cause and effect to everything, and you have to own and accept that. It always, it always starts with you and within. So tell us really quickly, we're coming to the end of our half hour, man. This has been extremely fun for me, talking to some other writers and authors. Tell us again where they can grab the book, and then give us your final thoughts.
Okay. You can get it again at Create Space or Amazon.com, or you can go to my PayPal at Nini62, which is my email, or you can contact me. My phone is 512-766-0369, and I'll be glad to send you an autographed copy of my book. And my final words are, if we don't believe in anything else, it is so important to trust yourself, whatever you're experiencing, because you can't know good unless you know bad. You can't know how to get there if you don't have the opposite. So we struggle, and it's the opportunity that we take, because we have the right to make choice. Yeah,
I like that, man. That reminds me of a Jim Rohn story that I like to tell. Is the older wise man and the young whippersnapper. The older wise man is getting ready to retire. The young whippersnapper comes up and says, "Hey, what do you attribute all your success to?" And he's looking for this long-winded, profound answer. And the old wise man said 2 words: right choices.
Right choice.
Okay. Right. And that kind of perplexed the young man, because he wanted this long dissertation, right? So he sat there puzzled, and the older gentleman kept on doing what he was doing. He said, well, wait a minute. If you can attribute all your success to right choices, how do you get to the place where you're making right choices? Right. The older gentleman said 1 word: grow. Now, at this point, the young man is extremely frustrated, because I want this something deep here. You're not giving me nothing deep. You're giving me 1 or 2 word answers. So he said, hey, look, man, if in order for me to get to right choices, I have to grow, well, how the heck did you grow? The older gentleman said 2 words: wrong choices. So wrong choices lead to growth. Growth leads to us eventually being able to make better choices or right choices. So, Anitress, this has been really, really fun. I thank you for coming on to the show this morning. Guys, go out and cop the book, man. 30 Days to Life, A Journey to Healing. Because of a special offer for my audience, she's going to get you the book and the t-shirt for just $20. Of course, you have to cover the shipping and handling, but she will send you an autographed book with the t-shirt. So 30 Days to Life, man, A Journey to Healing. This has been really, really fun. Again, guys, this is Black Literature Week. I'm going to keep coming to you with some powerful authors, man. So you've got to be ready, be on your toes be on your toes because we got some more great guests for you tomorrow. Again, Anitress, it was a pleasure. It's always an honor to chat with you. We chopped it up when you came to St. Louis last time. So look forward to a continued growth in our relationship. So with that, guys, that is, you are awesome, man, and you're welcome. So that's it for today. Also, if you want to go to Mikey Knows Biz on Facebook to get a copy of my little buddy Mikey Wren's book, Mikey Learns About Business. He sponsored this week, Black Literature Week. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community. Until I talk to you guys tomorrow, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. Stay on for 1 second, Anitress.
Okay.